Hello and welcome to Cage Cat, and today we're going to be talking about update ideas for tower battles because it's starting to lose the tower defense simulator. Anyway, that's besides the point. Oh, I'm not going to bother you about joining my group today, but that'll probably be in the next video though. So yeah. Anyway, so if you don't know right now, tower battles is being surpassed by a sort of clone game called Tower Defense Simulator, but it's not really a clone game. So at this point, it's starting to become more unique. And a lot of the developers from Tower Battles went over to this game. And, but these are just a couple update ideas that maybe will help Tower Battles. And the first one would be the longer wavelengths. One thing Tower Defense Simulator does is they add new waves occasionally. It's how their boss system is set up, that they can actually add new boss, having like final boss, but then it doesn't become a final boss like the Magma boss, which seemed like the final boss at a time, but then it also wasn't like the final boss, so they could actually add something else after that, but it was still a difficult boss to fight some more of the Void, but they could still put stuff after that. So it's designed, and I feel like they're going up to wave 100, so well, if Tower Battles started by going up to wave 50, one of the problems with Tower Battles is it just scales super difficulty, super hard. And so, I know it's not saying solo mode, because, I was kind of doing it as a challenge to see how long it could last. I was struggling with Hallow, and then I tried doing Commando Trick, but then I made it just so many zombies spawn in the early ways. Like, it's just an absurd amount compared to what it was before, that, you can't even do the Commando Trick. I only got the 1,500 monies before I could, only get up to 1,850 is what you need to get up to, but yeah. Anyway, so what they could do is add 50, they go up to wave 50 and then put Void at wave 50, but how would you do that? Well, we're at wave 38 right now, so we need to add 12 waves. But what if instead of just adding them after wave 38, what if we put them in between waves right now? Like maybe add 2 waves in between before boss 1? And so the idea could mean that it just scales a little bit more better, and maybe even like just a new enemy type or something could be there. And then they could start adding waves in between, somewhere in between the 10 and the 20 levels, wave 10 and 20. And the idea is that at this point they can start putting in event enemies. So if you didn't know, the Tower Battles occasion does events, and there's some exclusive enemies to these events. And what if you put things like the Witch, and things like the Witch and the Shadows, and I believe they're a Gingerbread Man or something as an enemy from, and what other enemies? Like maybe maybe some of the shards and the ice from the winter event, and what else is another good one? What was it called? Oh yeah, the Hidden Guardian, and just put those enemies in those waves. And between 21 and 30, re-add the what's it called? Zombie that spawns all this stuff. So the zombie spawns normals, and I believe they made a boss version of it for a while, but then they removed it. Add that into those waves. Add that, and maybe add things like more tougher, maybe like the wave 5 to 7 in the holiday events, and add enemies from that sort of difficulty into those waves. And 30 to 38, what you could do is add more levels, but add even a harder all the event enemies, add the harder ones. The hardest ones besides the bosses, and besides the Titans, because the Titans are basically just bosses on their own, and besides those, just just add the enemies in. And also I'd like to see more boss 4 because he's only in 3 waves. I understand the Guardians, the enemy that has what's it called, the Dominus on its head. I understand that one because it kind of avoids all personal guards, but not being any other ways. But it would be nice to see more of boss 4. Most people don't even know it exists, but there is a boss 4 because you're killing them so fast at that point. It's just so powerful. But I'd like to see more of that enemy be used more often. Then, what if wave 50 isn't normal Void, but it's a fake Void, and you can go back to the old red Void texture? So, what if instead of but that wouldn't be there until you add up to wave 100. And every 10 waves we get a boss, so at wave 60, it could be Mecha Santa. Wave 70, it could be Frosty. Wave 80, actually wave 80 is Frosty. 90 would be a glitch a sort of glitch boss because there's a secret wave in Tower Battles right now. And maybe that way it can kind of be incorporated for the 90s. And then 100 would be actually True Void, and maybe there'll be even harder bosses like last 7 or 8, and then 5 and 6 could be added in the other waves. But yeah, on top of that, maybe for enemies you could add, every wave, some waves is 4 different special bosses based off events. Oh, well, 3 of them are based off events, 1 isn't. Maybe add enemies from those events, maybe even make a mystery that can spawn, we spawn stuff from that event. So you get lucky or very unlucky with them. And it'll be idea. Plus make new enemies and stuff too that fit the event theme. That'll be harder because at this point you'd be in a weaker version of Void, but still it's Void. And then the final wave will be wave 100. And that could be an idea. This is the first 40, 50 waves that we have preparing the last 100. And now the problem with this though is the Tower Defense Simulator also has it, is that you just max every towers around like wave 30 or 40 in Tower Defense Simulator, and then you just sit back and just watch. But now the newer towers being more expensive to upgrade, then you don't have that problem as much. But I don't want that problem coming to Tower Battle, so what if instead of having a tower, placement limit going at 15, some towers have a limit of how many you can place. So if every tower had a limit, like maybe Scout's 30 or something, like ones right now are DJ having 2, Barracks having 2, and Zed having 5. And Zed used to have 4. So what if, these towers that I just mentioned that, only have a certain limit. Well, every tower got a certain limit. Maybe it's, and so the idea is you can have as many towers as you want out, depending on how many on your team. So you can literally add something from everything on your team. So yeah, you could probably pretty much have more towers than 15 out. But it also depends on what type of towers. If you're using a lot of overpowered towers, you wouldn't have as many as a noob using spamming a lot of lower level towers. But yeah, that's another idea. But yeah, then another idea after that would be, what if we added, Plants working on an aquatic update right now. Plants are creator of Tower Battles. Anyway, he's working on an aquatic update right now. So it's probably going to update all the maps, but, what if we added all of the event maps plus the other on top of the event maps, we also add all the loading screen maps, which only military bases, the only loading screen map that's actually in the game. And so that'll be around 6 new maps, and I can just pulled out from the code of older versions, which is possible. But yeah, so yeah, we can add all the event-based maps into the game, which would actually be kind of cool. So yeah, adding all the event-based maps. Event maps and that would be another idea. Another idea, maybe be releasing a new tower, or even just a dev-only tower, such as Golden Commando, Golden Scout, Red Scout, Archer, Knifer, and Stunner. And Knifer and Stunner was supposed to be for everyone, but they were supposed to be if the Planet would release them if Tower Battles won the Bloxies. But it didn't, because, it hasn't been updated, so people aren't playing it as much. So it's basically doomed itself, which is the funniest part. But at least all 6 of those towers in the shot, maybe Golden Commando, Golden Scout could be absurdly overpriced. Like, just a lot of credits. But in release these 6 towers, that would be another idea. I did see an idea on the Tower Battles group wall a long time ago of a skirmish mode, which is basically an event, but it's always active. And it'll be 4 players are needed for it. But you get a lot of money, but it'll be much similar to the event. And the difficulty scale is much higher. That would also be a fun mode to add. I like that idea. And maybe another thing to add is bring back Pro 1v1 and 4v4. Because those modes are fun. And on top of that, what if we add a 1v1v1v1 and a 2v2v2v2? So there's 4 teams fighting each other. And if, let's just say you die first or second, and so there's still people left, you can just choose to leave the match, and so you don't lose credits. But yeah, that's another idea added in. Is that you could basically go and, do that. Oh, and the video seems to cut out. But yeah, anyway, the last update idea would be the fact that, let's see. Yeah, the last update idea would be that maybe the survival mode has the same amount of credits as the versus modes. Because no one plays survival because just versus gives you more credits. Not more credits, but more money in general for placing towers. and that's why people don't like spawning. What if in the versus mode, however, there's a second currency which would be a spawning bucks or something, and you would get that some every wave, and so you can use them to spawn stuff. So you can save right away to like maybe get a hit boss 1 the first 10 waves, or well 8 right now, but 10 with the earlier idea. But yeah. And so it's like a spawning currency, so the normal credits price from the versus could just be all with survival, and that would be interesting. Maybe in 1v1, v1, v1, and 2v2, v2v2, that those modes will give you a little bit extra spawning bucks, because you have 3 different teams you can send on, you know. And this is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe to KitchenCat on YouTube. And peace, and let's join my Roblox group. The name of it and stuff is in episode 30 and stuff. So yeah, and season 4. But